platform. Senator, what transpired in Parliament speaks volume of what the NDC has become of today. Our actions and inactions have depicted exactly why we are in this current situation. The supremacy of the party, the principles, the ideologies that we've all, been with and supported, and has been the basis of which we've all been with the party, has been compromised to a very large extent. It pretty much suggests that there are people in the NDC who are in there for different reasons rather than the essence of the general rule as a political party that says that rally people, win power, and have the opportunity to serve or govern the people. It is not everyone who believes in that. So I have a feeling that there are others in the party who believes that it's all about themselves. Let me brand myself this way to pay my way through to become a member of parliament or a recognized figure in the NDC and use it for my selfish parochial interests. And that is exactly what played out in parliament. Judging from the 4 years of Akufo-Addo, the atrocities, the corruption, the high standard of living, the total deplorable state of our infrastructure, roads, health, etc., right? And the fact that people, out of anger, what the finance minister together with his uncle or cousin, or i.e. the president, did, collapsing financial institution, making Ghanaians commit suicide, losing their daily bread, all the hardship that Akufo-Addo has put Ghanaians through. One thought that the NDC would provide that tool, become that alternative measure that people can find safety, can find hope and respite in. Unfortunately, Senna, we have failed the people. The leadership of the party must accept this responsibility. And also, most importantly, Senna, like I said, the supremacy of the party here has totally been compromised. It's been bruised, injured, and jeopardized. Okay? We have people, it appears that we have people in the party that believes that without them, there will be no NDC. And therefore, by positions that they hold, they can use it as at their whims and caprices to determine the fate of the party, as if they know what is best for the party and no one else knows anything. But they have to acknowledge that they are equally limited in their knowledge when it comes to how the NDC got to its current state, i.e. the contributions by people that we've not seen, that we don't even know, we never heard about. It's that contribution put together is what gave the NDC the strength that it has in parliament. It was not based on these 1, 2, 3 people. No, they literally did nothing. If you want to look at it from the larger scale of the energies that people put in the last election. Okay, so if they are there, they have to acknowledge that they are privileged. It's a position that without the NDC, they wouldn't have had it. And without them, the NDC would move on. Our founder passed, the NDC hasn't collapsed. Yes, we've gone through challenges. We've had challenges from the get-go, but we are still soldiering on. So the supremacy here has moved from the pillars of the party to few individuals who would want to dictate the pace of the NDC at any step of the way. And that is exactly what seems to be playing now. Why do we still have the minority whip holding that position? Why? After this monumental failure, after shooting us in the chest with this particular disappointment, he's still at post. No one has seen the sense of urgency to acknowledge the sensitivity of the issue. The ordinary NDC full soldier who is weeping, who is crying that at least they can trust leadership to hold the fort irrespective of the current situation that we find ourselves in. They don't feel the passion, they don't feel the zeal of the ordinary person on the ground. They think that they can do whatever they want and come back to the people as and when they like, and these people will constantly follow them. Newsflash, check from 2000 our strongholds, what's been happening at our strongholds. It's based on some of these mentalities, some of this mindset that you think that you can use the people and damn them. That's why it has gotten us where we are today. And if we decide not to learn from the past or what has happened, and we continue to have this notion that says that we've been here since 1992, and therefore the NDC is the same NDC of 1992, look, we will be laughing at the wrong side of our mouth. Yesterday, one couldn't ask of accountability. Not today. Well, yesterday, President Rawlings was a very big man in the NDC. With time, you saw how people like Haruna Idrisu and the rest of them could talk back at President Rawlings. Today, the NDC of today, the sympathizers, the members of the NDC, they are not the members of 1992. We've moved on. Accountability right now is key. We hold people responsible for their actions and inactions. This is the NDC of today. Okay, so if you do something that contravenes what we've all agreed upon or what the standard is, you would have to be able to come out and pay the price for it. This whole perception of let's not put it out there, it will collapse the party, it will dampen the spirit, of so on and so forth. Let's also consider the fact that without us taking the right measures, what would be the overall effect? What would be the overall effect? Look, you may think that by virtue of the so-called big men in parliament, when we touch them, it will affect the party. No, it will not. We will lose one here, we can gain two there. Okay, it's high time we put our minds in ensuring that the party remains supreme. How in God's name would we have our own members backstabbing us in the back after the fight, after all the things that we've been through, and then someone will come out, a member of parliament will come out and tell us that they took that in the interest of the country? Are you serious? So in your limited brain that you have in parliament, being vocal and the ability to express yourself doesn't give you that gravitas into thinking that your word is final, because you sound arrogant, and we can only mock at some of your presentations. And this is what it means. People need to learn to keep quiet. People were slapped during the by-election. Now they become friends to violence. They become friends to violence. And now they are supporting persons like Hawa Kumsin. And I don't care whether you voted for that person or not. As long as you are meek, as long as you are quiet about it, you represent that. As long as you are quiet about the situation, it means you represent us. How do you think that some NDC members would be able to go out there and ask people for resources to be able to come back and help the party when you put us in this situation? How is that possible? What will be the motivational factor for people to think that, okay, let's us go and pump in more resources in helping the NDC, when we have our leadership compromising and playing games with the soul of the party? So we have no excuse whatsoever. We have no basis. People need to be accountable. I said it the last time. We can't ask Adikwe to be in the box when we are not willing to be in the box. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. What it tells us is when we got opportunity, we could do worse. Or we will do worse. And that's what it looks like. What was or is the party's position in with this ministerial appointment? What was the party's position? What were the ingredients that went into the decision or the overall conclusion that let these people pass or let these people not pass? And why did others decided to do the opposite? And why are they not being held before the right committee and sanctions being meted at these people? Look, let's learn one particular lesson here. Look at the GOP. I mean the Republican Party. The Republican Party under Bush was not the same Republican Party under Trump. You know why? Because Trump became a god. And when he started sinking that himself, he went with the party and went all the way down just one term. And now they are caught up in a situation whereby, okay, if we don't get Trump to come back, who else? Now, in the minds of the general public, are they willing to accept him back? If they say no, it means that the more Trump goes down, the more the GOP also goes down. The meekness, your inability to speak truth to power will catch up with you one way or the other. And the NDC seems to be towing that line right now. Don't speak. Just leave it. Let's move on. We can't move on. How do you make progress when you not acknowledge the errors that you've made, that you're not seeing correcting the errors? So let me tell you one thing. In 2016, I was a campaign manager for 2 constituencies at a row. And I said, look, one is more, demanding than the other. So let one go. And, I did some training and handed one to the other people to handle the other constituency. At the end of the day, before leaving Ghana, was this Kwesi Boche's committee thing going on. And I got a phone call that we are supposed to meet at a certain place for us to discuss it. And I said, who are the people going there and what are they going to say? The people that were going there or the people that went there to pontificate were the same people that caused our downfall. The people that went to the Kwesi Boche committee, from the branch chairman to the youth organizer to the women organizer, they were all part and parcel of the major problem that we face. And do you know where they had their strength from? From the people at the top. And I am telling you, because I can't reveal everything, but I am telling you that it was coming from the people at the top. Some of the highest people that we elected playing favoritism because they wanted to maintain their position at all costs, to the detriment of the party. And its effect is what happened in 2020. 2016, they said we couldn't collect our results. 2020, we couldn't collect our results. How? There's a saying that if you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, what happens? How many times have we been fooled here? They say keep quiet, don't say much. We will correct it. The same pattern, the same strategy. Nothing has changed. The same move. And you expect a different result in 2024? We need to start speaking now. We need to baptize ourselves now so that we can have a better chances in 2024. What Sami Jefu said represents exactly what it is. That young man has put his life on the line. He's had the worst from the NPP, and therefore, when he speaks, he has every right to speak. But what's the position of the party in all this? What's the position of the party? Where is leadership? Where is leadership in all this? And that's why we are where we are. We don't want to comment. We don't want to say it as it is. Oh, let's put it under the carpet. We'll discuss it indoor. Look, from 2000, we've discussed a lot of things behind the scenes. The result has been very abysmal. We have to change our ways. Okay. We need to put in the right mechanisms that would always ensure that the party remains supreme, irrespective of who you are, including the presidential leader, all the way down to the branch secretary. And that is how parties survive. And even in corporate world, that's how it survives. Everyone would have to be accountable. Everyone would have to acknowledge that your action and inaction affects the overall chances, the survival of the organization. And let's stop building these mini demigods of people that they think that without them, the party cannot survive. President Rawlings is gone. Even President Rawlings himself, he's gone. So what's next? What is next as a political party? What is the future of the NDC? Per what happened in Parliament, it clearly tells us that we have a bigger problem to deal with. We have a huge problem to deal with. You either say it as it is and walk with your head up, or you bow down your head and swallow the bitter pill and then understand that your conscience will serve you one day. Okay. We bastardized Akufo-Addo. We bastardized what's her name? Adukwe. We bastardized Supreme Court. How about we from within? How did this happen? you go and approve Howard Kumsi. Why? Why?
But Arnold, there's
Me too. Kandapa, they were part of the reason why our people couldn't even speak at certain constituencies. They were hounded. People lost their lives. And this is the party you want people to die for? Is this the party you want people to die for as leadership of the party? And
I think the question I wanted to ask, and perhaps in your delivery you did address that question, because I was going to ask what you meant by leadership, whether you're talking about only the minority or the party is also involved, but you raised questions in relation to both the leadership of the minority and then the party's direction. But there's also the question of how we seek accountability in circumstances like this. If I belong to a group and things are not going in one particular direction or the other, how do I seek the accountability that I am looking for?
Senator, like I stated, I said that the party should always remain supreme. And the essence of the political party is to gain political advantage, to be in power, to govern or to serve the people. That is the primary purpose. Therefore, the rules of engagement, the systems and procedures that will be put in place should ensure that it attains this overall vision. Now, what does the rule say when one contravenes the position of the party? In this particular circumstances, the minority, they do not exist in that particular portfolio as independent individuals. They are there on the ticket of the NDC. It's the NDC's minority in parliament. It's not an individual's own strength in parliament. And therefore, here, I wouldn't even want to hold them that, much of, I wouldn't want to hold them to their neck on this one. I would hold the party here, that what does the party say? What does the rules of engagement say when one defies the understanding, the accord that has been reached? What happens to that? So if the party is not taking any chances, if the party is not, cracking the whip in ensuring that the rule stands, that the law that governs each and every party member stands, then it creates that impression that members of parliament can do whatever they want to do and walk away. If we do not sanction people, if the party does not bring the leadership in parliament to the table to account for why they did what they did, if what I understood is correct, that the idea was that do not pass certain people, and they still went ahead and passed them, what does the rule say? That's exactly what's supposed to happen. If we don't cure this disease right now, it will create room for worse to happen. So for me, I would hold the party national executive responsible in ensuring that there is justice in this particular incident, because they have failed all of us.
Okay. And that National Executive Committee includes the Sami Jefi that you're talking about?
Of course, Sami Jefi spoke as a member of the party, as an executive member of the party, and in his comments, he made statements that included persons like the General Secretary, that upon all the work that these people have done or continue to do in other constituencies, is this the payback that we get from Parliament? So clearly it tells you that generally the leadership of the party is not happy with what transpired in Parliament. However, how will they react? How will they show leadership in this critical moment? Will they let it pass? Will they be treated with kids' gloves? It's incumbent on them to show us the way. Because mind you, they'll still come back to the grassroots. They'll come and derive their strength back from the grassroots. And maybe, this time around, the grassroots will rise up and say to their faces that we gave you the power to coordinate, to ensure the sustainability of the power, to bring us power, and now we are here with excuses. You are here with excuses. I am sorry.
Arnold, thank you.